I've had many people say to me, if you have to ask, you can't afford it. I think this statement has some validity, especially when it comes to the price of a Class B RV. Well, up to a point. When searching for products and services, be it RVs, houses, frying pans, fixing a leak, whatever, I find most people first turn to price. How much does it cost? An important consideration to be sure, but it isn't the only one and isn't even the first question you should be asking. If you have an issue that needs to be resolved, you need to find a solution, and that solution has to solve the issue, right? An RV has to enable you to explore the country. A house has to let you live with a roof over your head. A frying pan has to cook meals, and a repair has to stop a leak. If you can spend less, but it doesn't do what you need, you're going to have a problem and less money in the bank while you spend more to fix the thing you spent money on to solve the issue in the first place. Instead of asking about price, people should first consider what will give them the solution they need at a price point they can afford. I could buy a very expensive frying pan that looks like a dream and may even last me a long time. But am I interested in bragging rights or frying an egg? A cheap pan can do that, and even if it doesn't last a lifetime, it may last long enough and cheap enough that buying a replacement sometime in the future is still cheaper than an expensive frying pan, however long it lasts. The same goes with any other purchase, like an RV. There are cheaply made RVs, incredibly expensive RVs, and loads of RVs in between. If I want the best of the best, and I have all the money to spend, what's 300 grand and more to me? I can get a custom build and have some really amazing RV. Money is no object. But like most everyone, I have to consider price. What RV will give me those things I need at a price I can afford? If I can't afford much up front, I have the option to buy a lower quality model. And there's nothing wrong with that, as long as I understand repairs and updates are in my future, and they will cost in the long run. If I have money set aside, or if I can justify a loan, maybe getting something that costs a little more up front but is better built, that might be worth it, assuming I won't need to make repairs anytime soon since it should be better built. So it isn't so much about if you have to ask, but more about what you want in return for the money you spend, the balance between cost and return on investment. You have to ask yourself, what is the most money I can spend to have a certain kind of return? And when that's answered, can I reach the price point I need to make that happen? Or do I have to make compromises? Of course, you may not be able to be satisfied. There may not be an RV that fits your needs, but is still within a price range you can afford, which means not making the purchase. Only then does it become an if you have to ask kind of situation. But if you can find the right balance between price and satisfaction, there's an RV out there somewhere for just about anyone. So let's stop saying, if you have to ask, you can't afford it. Maybe instead we need to say, if you ask the right questions, you'll know if you can afford it. Be seeing you.